may gradually progress from brahmacharya to grahastha, and from grahastha to vanaprastha, and from vanaprastha to sannyasa, and thus gave up material enjoyment, which is the original cause of bondage to this material world. The word Brihatvrata refers to one who has decided not to marry, or in other words, not to indulge in sex life throughout his entire life. Hmm. Way to go till 9 shlokas. Uh, केशप्रसादनोर्मार्द स्नपनाभ्यञ्जनादिकं गुरुस्त्रीभिर्युवतिभिः कारयेन्नात्मनो युवा. Translation: If the wife of the spiritual master is young, a young brahmachari should not allow her to care for his hair, massage his body with oil, or bathe him with affection like a mother. Purport: The relationship between the student or disciple and the wife of the spiritual master or teacher is like that between son and mother. A mother sometimes cares for her son by combing his hair, massaging his body with oil, or bathing him. Similarly, the wife of the teacher is also a mother, Guru Patni, and therefore she may also care for the disciple in a motherly way. If the wife of the teacher is a young woman, however, young brahmachari should not allow such a mother to touch him. This is strictly prohibited. There are 7 kinds of mothers. आत्ममाता गुरोर्पत्नी ब्राह्मणी राजपत्निका धेनुर्धात्री तथा पृथिवी saptaita matara smrtaha. This mother or the original mother, the wife of the teacher or spiritual master, the wife of a brahmana, the king's wife, the cow, the nurse, and the earth. Unnecessary association with women, even with one's mother, sister, or daughter, is strictly prohibited. This is human civilization. A civilization that allows men to mix unrestrictedly with women is an animal civilization. In Kali Yuga, people are extremely liberal, but mixing with women and talking with them as equals actually constitute an uncivilized way of life. In other words, Nandvagnif Pramatanama Kumbha Samah Puman Sutamapiraho Jahyat Anyataya Vatarthakrite. Women is compared to fire and man is compared to a butter pot. Therefore, a man should avoid associating even with his own daughter in a secluded place. Similarly, he should also avoid association with other women. One should associate with women only for important business and not otherwise. Purport: If a butter pot and fire are kept together, the butter within the pot will certainly melt. Women is compared to fire and man is compared to a butter pot. However, advanced one may be in restraining the senses. It is almost impossible for a man to keep himself controlled in the presence of a woman, even if she is his own daughter, mother, or sister. Indeed, his mind is agitated, even if one is in the renounced order of life. Therefore, Vedic civilization carefully restricts mingling between men and women. If one cannot understand the basic principles of restraining association between men and women, he is to be considered an animal. This is the purport of the verse. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे वर्जयेत् प्रमतागातम् अगृहस्थो बृहद्व्रतः इंद्रियाणि pramatini harantyapyathirmanaha. A brahmachari or one who has not accepted the grahastha ashrama must rigidly avoid talking with women or about women, for the senses are so powerful that they may agitate even the mind of a sannyasi, a member of the renounced order of life. Um, The Vedic civilization carefully restricts mingling between men and women. If one cannot understand the principle of restraining association between men and women, he is to be considered an animal. That's the purport of this verse. Hare Krishna. So we are continuing the seventh canto, chapter 12, the perfect society, four spiritual classes. So in one sense, it appears to be a brahmachari class today. But in all sense, it is for the purport says that this understanding is for the civilized life. So, for many Westerners, when they come to India, it's like a cultural shock for them that there are different kinds of behavior goes on here. The Vedic civilization, even the remnants are remaining in India. You will see all the places there is a kind of a segregation between men and women. If you go to a temple, you know, one side is for ladies, another side for gents. If you go to, you know, the local transport buses also, ladies seat they keep separate, correct? In local train, ladies bogies are there. So why such kind of now saying these things? Also, there is a revolt. Why there should be separation, equal rights should be there. So this kind of back and forth things goes on, but we'll try to see how the Sanatana Dharma balances. How Sanatana Dharma actually is it cruelty or is it partiality or is it some kind of undue advantage taken by the men? Sometimes accusation is done that all literatures are written by men. Vedavyasa wrote the Puranas, Valmiki Muni wrote Ramayana, and all the Smriti Shastras are by Yajnavalkya Muni or Parashara Rishi or Manu. So these are all men have written these books and they suppressed the ladies, like that, that kind of, talks. There is one university run by the missionaries, and they don't evidently canvas conversion like what they used to do before, but they encourage a lot of articles and a lot of research work for the students. So one such publication is that how in Sanatana Dharma the women are disrespected and they're exploited. How Ram doubted Sita Devi and drew her away when she was pregnant. How injustice done to the women. How Draupadi was not helped by the powerful husbands when she was in great need. So like that, one after one after one, they write a paper, research paper, how women were deprived, or how caste system, how the lower caste were deprived of their privileges. So these kinds of study, they write papers, research works, and all the names will be Hindu names. This will be the research. So why these kind of misunderstanding have come up? Um, it's also because of the wrong applications. But first of all, why these kind of things are discussed? Why these kind of things are proposed here? So the designation such as men, women, or even for that matter, brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyasi, or even our regular designations such as maybe I'm a officer or a father, mother, so on. These designation are based on, it's not of that of a soul, it's based on the body. Who is a brahmana? So brahmana is actually is a designation given to the particular body, not to the self. So kshatriya is also designation given to the body, not to the self. So in the ultimate sense, vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane gavihastini suni chaiva supake cha pandita samadarshinaha. Yeah, pandita, learned person sees all of them, vidya vinaya sampanna, who has really have a knowledge, who is humble. He sees brahmane gavi hastini, a brahmana or a cow or a or elephant or even a dog eater, all the same. He doesn't discriminate. So how the no discrimination? Because the self within the body is the same. Self within the body is one. So there is no such kind of discrimination in that platform. But even though we are the soul, but we are entangled in 9 holes. That's a body. Body made up of. So because of that reason, the discrimination has to be given. So one should not do away with that, thinking that he is seeing the self. So the bodily concept of life is called dehatma buddhi. That is very much ingrained. Till the time one is free from the bodily concept of life, one has to act on the bodily platform, and one has to accept the discrimination between the bodily differences. So just because the soul in the tiger's body and the soul in the uh, man body is same, so one cannot go and embrace the tiger unless one is in such elevated state of self realization. So the discrimination has to be given. Even the Mayavadis who claims that everything is one, even they have to discriminate. So they say that for the practical purpose, everybody is, Dvaitis. Dvaitis means not, they cannot be Mayavadis. The Mayavada proposes that how many of you actually say that this microphone in front of me is existing or not? It is existing or not? Anybody have any doubt? The clock which we are seeing is there, correct? But they propose it is not there. It was neither there. It was not there. It is either now. It is going to be present in future. It is absolutely non-existing according to them. But that is their philosophy. But for practical purpose, they have to accept. Otherwise, they can't run their matas, correct? They have to get the donation. So if you say that if you take the money from the Mayavadis, saying that The money neither was there, nor it is present now, neither is going to be in future. So I'll take it away. No, they will grab it back. So practical purpose, they're accepting the reality of the world, even though they propose everything is mithya. So even they also has to deal with the practical world of discrimination between good and bad, uh, men and women. So that nobody can do away with that. So how to deal with the world? That is understanding. So Sanatana Dharma helps us. Vedic literature helps us how to deal with the world. Just like when you are going to take a rose flower, the rose flower is beautiful, very fragrant, but the rose plant also have thorn in it. So when somebody warns you that, hey, don't go and pluck the rose flower carelessly, don't go and pluck the flower at the night, don't pluck the rose flower in the early morning when there is still dark. So when such things are spoken, hey, how can you say like this? Such a rose flower, so fragrant. You are envious. You are telling not to plug it. Why now? Why can't you plug it? Whether you plug it in the middle of the night or early in the morning, rose by any name smells the same. Rose at any time smells same only. So somebody may say that you are depriving the enjoyment of uh, smelling the fragrance of the rose, but it's not depriving. It is facilitating proper enjoyment. If you go at the night and plug it, and you may get hurt by the thorn. You don't know where is rose flower, where is a flower, where is a plant. So such kind of caution is not actually depriving the person's enjoyment, but actually it is facilitating and helping a person to practically approach it in a proper way. So similarly, when these kinds of restriction, so it is not that a rose flower is bad, but taking the rose flower at the wrong time is bad. It's not that the Vedic literature, Vedic Vedas or Sanatana Dharma is envious of people's enjoyment. People many times say Sanatana Dharma means depriving people's enjoyment. Mm. So actually, if you really, if the Sanatana Dharma, many people say that you people don't bother about living happily in this world. You are all talking about life after death. Go to how to go to heaven, how to go to Vaikuntha, back to Godhead. But here people are suffering. You don't give any solution for the people of the world. So you only talk about world afterlife. So you're all parasites. You are all useless for the contemporary society. That kind of allegations are given. But actually, Sanatana Dharma's program is that how one can live happily in the present life, at the same time, how one can really achieve the everlasting happiness, the life after. So Sanatana Dharma or Vedic process doesn't negate the enjoyment of the present life, but how to enjoy, how whatever the most maximum possible way one can enjoy this world, that is also given in the Shastra. If that is not cared for, how to live in this world, then why Krishna has painstakingly given us the Shastra which deals with the world? Many Shastras, they're dealing exclusively with the world and life in the world. Example, Ayurveda. What is Ayurveda science means? It is basically meant to lead a life free from disease. If the life in the spiritual world is the main concern, why you should talk about Ayurveda? It should not be there. Which other religion talks about, uh, health issues? There's only one book, maximum two books, that talk about heaven and sins in this world. But they don't talk about your health, but Ayurveda science. So Ayurveda, it talks about how to protect the body from the disease, the attacks of the enemy, the disease. And Dhanurveda talks about how to protect the country from the attack of the external enemy. The other enemies, the other country, how to protect the country so that if the country is protected, one can be peaceful. Country may be protected, but the disease attacks, still in the protected country, one can suffer. So there is Ayurveda. And how to keep mental health, there is Gandharva Veda, which talks about music. talks about dance, and there is entertainment, but all these things, whether it is bodily necessities such as Ayurveda, or if it is mental necessities, Gandharva Veda, if it is a social necessities, protection of the society, such as Dhanurveda, all these things are helping us to live peacefully in this world, uh, live healthy, as much as possible, healthy in this world, as much as possible, live without fear in this world, being attacked by the enemy kingdom. So that what? So that one can live happily here, at the same time, simultaneously progress towards eternal happy life after this life. So it is carefully dealing with both the world. So it is not one sided, that's misunderstanding. So when it is talking about that, so this is a balanced program. Sanatana Dharma gives a balanced program how one can live happily in this world, at the same time achieve the spiritual world. So in order to achieve the spiritual world, it is not that one should suffer at the current time or in the current world. It's not necessarily like that. There should be misunderstanding. So that's why chant Hare Krishna and be happy, not only in the spiritual world. At present time also one can be happy. So to lead a happy life, there are various recommendations are given. Those recommendations are based on the Varnashrama system. So Varna and Ashrama is basically given by Krishna. Chaturvarne maya srishtam guna karma vibhagashaha. That this system is given so that one can lead a peaceful and happy life in this world. So in that sense, there is a guiding principle for a brahmachari life, guiding principle for a sannyasi, grahastha, vanaprastha. So ashram and varna, these guiding principles are there. But when these principles are not followed, one can live. The happiness doesn't mean that unrestricted life. Just like we often give the example, the kite is flying in the sky. The kite is tied with a rope. If the kite thinks that I'm tied to the rope, I want to be independently fly. If you cut the rope which is tied to the ground, then what happened? The kite cannot fly; it falls off. So similarly, the Prabhupada coined the word called regulative principles of freedom. Interesting. Regulative principles of freedom. How can be regulation and freedom can go together? So regulative principle of freedom. So that is what civilized life. Okay, take the rose flower, but in this way you should do. Eat the jackfruit, but carefully. There's a procedure to eat the jackfruit. Oh, I want to enjoy directly, without going to the procedure, then you will get stuck with your hands and legs, like the hands and mouth, in the beard, the story we had, the Westerner came to eat the jackfruit in India. He got messed up with his beard and all those things. So, so this restriction, these regulations are important so that one can lead a peaceful life here and happy life here. So, uh, when we see the Varna and Ashrama, that this material world, even though it is said as a dukkhalaya mashashvatam, but also Vedic literatures are telling us one should live for hundreds of years. One can live for 100 years. One should live a happy life. So the happy life is also, the happiness varies from a person to person, varies from the stages of life. So the person who can enjoy it in this world, material world, is in the Varna and Ashrama. We say that a king who is a grihastha, a kshatriya who is a grihastha. In the Varna, it is kshatriya, and the Ashrama is a grihastha. So a kshatriya who is born in, who is a grihastha, has the maximum uh, advantage to enjoy this world. Correct? Because even a kshatriya who goes for as a brahmachari, he has to perform austerities and he has to lead a very simple life. So when such kshatriya gets married, he has a great palace with so many women and so many great life. He has a maximum opportunity for enjoyment. At the same time, a brahmana, his life is sort of a tapasya, and chants some mantras. First meal of the brahmanas, it's only after 11 o'clock, 11:30 to 1 in between. This is his first breakfast he takes. So that is a brahmana's life. Brahmachari life is also restricted, goes for begging alms and comes back. By the time he goes out in the Vedic system, he gets up at 4 o'clock. He doesn't take bath immediately because the sun has to come up to go take bath in the pond or in the river. There's no bathroom concept those times. So gets up, washes his feet and leg, and starts chanting mantras, verses. And then around when it is 5:30 like that, when sun is little just before sunrise, when lights, when there is brightness, then he goes for a lake or a river to take bath. Then he performs his morning duties. Then around 7:30 or 8 goes for begging alms, to the various householders. And after begging alms, he may come around, 1 hour later. Then whatever he begs, and a brahmachari begs alms, who gives food? The grihasthas give food. What they should give? For the brahmachari begging means they should give uncooked food. Sannyasi begs means they give cooked food. So uncooked food means rice, dal, some sabji, and he has to bring it and give to Guru's wife, and the wife cooks. And then the the Guru, after the cooking is done, he offers to the deities. Then as a grasa, goes and calls, if is anybody is hungry, is anybody hungry? So then if somebody comes, he feeds them. And then by the time it will be around 11:30 or so, then he calls the brahmacharis. Prasadam is ready, you come. So the first meal, the boy, the Brahmana brahmachari boy takes his herb 11:30, 12 like that. So why these kinds of restriction? So this restriction is taken even by the Kshatriyas, the son of a king who stays in the Gurukul. Why such restriction? Because unless your senses are restrained, uh, you cannot get the knowledge. The tapasya and knowledge, they are interdependent components. Ekas tapasya dhiradhyayi. Whenever you go for tapasya, you go alone, whether a demon or a devotee. Dhruva Maharaj goes alone for forest tapasya. Hiranyakashipu also goes alone. He doesn't take some kind of 10, 12 assistants. So however your king's son go alone and perform austerities. Why? When austerity is performed, then what happened? You comes to the mode of goodness. Then from the mode of goodness, you receive understanding and realization, to the level that Brahma Darshanam. So, so the austerities are part of the life that is very much needed. Even the demons understood that, because demons are also part of Vedic civilization. Only thing is that they don't accept Vishnu as Supreme Lord. So, so the brahmachari, whether you are a Kshatriya brahmachari, or you are a Brahmana brahmachari, or you are a Vaishya brahmachari. So the three varnas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, when they undergo brahmacharya training, these restrictions are there. So why we are talking about the brahmachari system in the Gurukula? Why this Gurukul system is there? Krishna and Balaram was born in Mathura. In one night, they were transferred to Vrindavan, came after practically 11 years. So a Brahmana gets Upanayana ceremony at the age of 7 or 9, 7, Kshatriya at 9, and the Vaishya at 11. So being a Vaishya brought up, Krishna and Balaram, they did not get Upanayana ceremony done in Vrindavan. So by the time they reached around 11 years, 10 and a half years, 11 years, they went to Mathura. And now Devaki and Vasudeva are getting their sons back after so many years of separation. They could have just kept, oh, my dear baby, you are here. You just stay with us all the time, But immediately what they did, Upanayana ceremony is done, and they sent them to Gurukul. My teacher was teaching me in the college. He is a professor. He is a lecturer. But he studied himself in Gurukul. So he comes to the college with Shika and with Shal. That college is taught by the Brahmanas and only for the Brahmanas. That is also in Tamil Nadu, in this capital city. It's still going on like that. Still surprising how it is surviving. So we all go in dhoti and shal, and only Brahmanas study there. The teachers are Brahmanas, Shika and all, but it is affiliated to the college university. So he would tell me, you see, my heart says I should put my son, my intelligence says I should put my son is also the Gurukul. But my heart says, oh, you should not go there. So then he told himself, he told the reason. You know why? In the Gurukul, we have to get up early morning, 4 o'clock. If you don't get up, so and so happens. So then every day morning breakfast for us will be the previous day rice soaked in water and some little dahi sometime and little achar. And lunchtime, when we take lunch, very often with the rice comes also some worms and all. You have to pick up the worms carefully and eat. You know, this I'm talking about around 45 years before, 50 years before. Still, the Gurukuls in India were struggling hard, and and for now, what is for us the greatest fun of enjoyment? That in our Gurukul outside there is a Ganesh temple. People would come and take stone and coconut and they throw it on the, that they do that, ceremony. And those coconuts will spill off and we'll go and pick it up and eat. Those coconuts are our refreshment, feast, sweet feast. So that was a hard life. And beating left, right, center, if you make any small mistakes, Sahasrasirusha Purushaha Sahasrakshas Sahasrapad, 3 times repeat. First time mistake comes, the teacher frowns at you. Second time mistakes comes, he will raise his hand. Third time mistakes means there will be a lot of marks in your body. So, uh, spare the rod. What is that? Spoil the child, spare the rod. I mean, we can't do it now. But these boys, he was telling me that, now you see, unless we had got those beatings, I would have not chanting the mantra properly now. All the teachers and the boys are so grateful that unless we get this kind of treatment, I would have been spoiled kid and would have not chanting the swaras of the mantras properly. And such a, I'm just talking these things, but this restriction, not that every Gurukul they're beating, but there is some restriction, there is some kind of thing. So my teacher was telling me, but when my kid is sleeping in the morning at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, I start waking him up at 5 o'clock, and then I'll get succeeded in my mission of waking up, but by 6:37 like that. So now I know if I keep him here, he won't study. But if you put in Gurukul, he has also undergo all this austerity. So my wife and my now why my teacher went to Gurukul, because his parents, they don't have economical facility. They can't feed the kid. Okay, go to the school. Go to the Gurukul. The Gurukul, you get at least some food to eat. So the Kanchi Shankaracharya started a scheme called one fist grain. Every Brahmana family should give, if they're cooking every day, keep aside one fist of grain aside, and that one fist of grain should be given to the Gurukul. So there was a hard struggle for the Gurukuls. Nowadays, money is there, but students are spoiled. Those times students didn't say money was not there. So these Gurukul systems is that of a restriction, that of a restraint. And why the parents send the kids to the Gurukul? Because the boys should be kept aloof from the pampering of the parents. Also, they should be kept aloof from the association of opposite sex. So, Kamini Jigyasa Vidya Pradibandhakam. That uh, curiosity regarding women is an obstacle for Vidya. So, Kamini Jigyasa Sarva Vidyana Pradibandhakam. So, in the Gurukul system, the boys are kept aloof from the association of women for many, many, many years. So, only women association they can get is cows, tulasi plant. So, of course, the elderly guru's wife. So, why this kind of restriction is done? Because the mind is peaceful. You are nothing to do with the world outside. Only focused on studies. So the concept of brahmacharya life means he is not to he is not the original varnashram system. The brahmachari is not a preacher. Just like a Shudra is a leg of the Varna, Brahmachari is a leg of the ashramas. So Brahmachari ashrama is basically the legs is equal to Shudra in the ashrama side. So from the Brahmachari life, when the Grahastha is upgraded version, then Vanaprastha Sannyasa is upgraded version. So because he is a Brahmachari, he is just a sold out servant, like a Shudra is a servant of the three Varnas. Brahmachari is a servant of who? The Guru. So his duty is only to study menial service. There is no question of him preaching or going anywhere. So, uh, of course, the ISKCON still Brahmacharya Ashram is a combination of, you know, Brahmachari can be, they're doing a job of sannyasis also. Sometimes they're doing a job of Vanaprastha also. you know. So this is a different concept, Vaishnava concept, the need of the hours. But it's not that it should continue for all the time to come. So I was telling in one place, a little controversy maybe, that the current Brahmachari system followed by us is not exactly the Brahmachari system intended by Krishna in the Vedic Varnashram Dharma, because the Brahmacharya system means that he is not a preacher. The Brahmachari is not supposed to be, uh, you know, attracting crowd with his intelligence and knowledge. He is supposed to be just a student. All the description of Brahmachari in all the Shastras, you don't find them giving lectures or class or preaching going out. That is the job of sannyasi. So why Prabhupada did this? Because emergency. Saraswati Thakur did. Prabhupada did emergency that people the fire outside the world. So you go and save them. You can't say that I am. I am not a firefighter. Whatever just throw some water on it. But then it is emergency system. The maybe in the front in future the Brahmacharya ashram in ISKCON, maybe those ashram. So Brahmacharya life start from the age of 7. Mm, till the age of 15, that is Brahmachari ashrama. Then after that, the Grahastha ashram. So, and our intake of Brahmachari takes place minimum after 18, correct? So, when the Brahmachari is supposed to reach the Grahastha stage of life, that time the intake of Brahmachari ashram takes place. So, it is not wrong, or it's not ashastrik, it is shastrik also, but it's not the ideal situation. The ideal thing is the Brahmacharya ashram, what Vedic system proposes, what Varnashram Dharma proposes, is that of the age of 7 to 15, or a little later also. So that at that time he should be kept away from the association of women. Then later that brahmachari can enter in, continue as a brahmachari. So looks like that the ISKCON system is those brahmachari who are trained from the age of 7 to 15. If they continue as brahmacharis, so they are and they don't have to be just a student. They can also teach and preach to others. So that kind of system, we can accept like that, extended version of that. So so the association of women. So why it is restricted? Because it is one thing is that it is obstacle for the intake, just like in the stri sukam paramam sukam. In this material world, the highest pleasure is association of opposite sex. Uh, and that pleasure and the gaining of knowledge that go ill together. So that's why there is a restriction. Even in the modern days also, modern world also, we see the Western countries, their intelligence and knowledge systems are becoming lower and lower. All the Indians and others are taking over the software company and all these things. Why? Because of the unrestricted association with opposite sex spoils their inquisitiveness in understanding, more and more. Their inquisitiveness goes in different direction. So this restriction is practical also, and it is working also, and it is seen by everybody. So this brahmacharya life, so that's why the segregation is given. And if you see our history also, it maybe looks very uh, kind of injustice, but it is carefully taken. Except one ashrama, all the three ashrama, brahmacharya ashrama, vanaprastha ashrama, sannyasa ashrama, except these three, that means only one ashrama is remaining, that is grahastha ashrama. They are having license to associate with women the way it is recommended. So these three are restricted because it is again the renunciation, the sannyasa ashrama is respected the more. Why? Because When you compare knowledge and renunciation takes higher precedence. That's why a Brahmana, Grahastha, or a Brahmachari may be sometime more learned than a sannyasi. But a sannyasi has to be respected for a definite reason. Bhattacharya stood down below Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he was trying to teach Mahaprabhu Vedanta. Bhattacharya, Sarva Bhattacharya was a Grahastha and he is elderly person, learned, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is young, supposed to be, according to Sarva Bhattacharya's understanding, Mahaprabhu doesn't know Vedanta. So he is knowledge-wise lower and age-wise lower. Bhattacharya, knowledge-wise is higher, age-wise is higher, but he sat down and made Mahaprabhu sat up. Why? Because the renunciation is higher. What is renunciation? Renunciation means so renunciation is a realization of knowledge. Knowledge comes first, then comes realization. So because he has taken sannyas order means he's realized the application of knowledge. So Bhattacharya humbly saying that I have understanding, but I don't have the realization of my understanding. But you already realized, only thing you don't have the technicalities. So let me supply. He sat down. So this realization means that this bodily pleasure is lower pleasure, and I want to be present in the self stage of the self realization. So for that, the opposite association, the opposite sex is a very dangerous platform that it may bring my previous conditioning. I am in the path of realization. So sannyasi has to be stay away from the women. And Vanaprastha, who is already experienced Grihastha life, he is in the verge of transition towards sannyas life. He has to slowly get away from the association of women. Brahmachari, of course, he should not have association of women because he is gaining knowledge. So because of these three reasons, the three ashramas are trained to stay away from women. But at the same time, it is not a disrespect. Saraswati Thakur was very careful that a girl who is the age of his daughter came alone to meet him. He said that I can't meet you alone. You have to come with your husband or somebody else. She pleaded, but no other choice. Jamatrumuni, who is one of the sannyasi in Srirangam, in his matha, there was one evening, it was dark and heavily raining and so much of storm outside. One lady, who is very old lady, she was in the matha, she could not go out. And everybody was wondering that she can't go out now, so she was staying in one corner. But the sannyasi came and told that she has to leave my matha right now. And who is the sannyasi is considered as one of the soft heart, the person who is have no envy, soft hearted, and is so kind to everybody. And everybody surprised why he's doing like that. And it looks like a strong step, but he did it, and the lady has to go out. Of course, they arranged some place for her, and things are taken care. Uh, but then next day, the sannyasi was approached. He said, "Why?" He said that, you know why? That if this woman stays here and the whole society is waiting to find a fault in a sannyasi, then my contribution to the society, my service to society will be will be totally disturbed. And for the higher cause, it may appear to be hard, but I had to take this hard step. So it's not that the old lady died or something. Even it's an old lady, he did that, so strict. His Holiness Ranath Maharaj also, in his room, if you see, there is used to be one, uh, printed notice that the ladies who comes to meet him should not come alone, should come with, in his room outside. So anyway, this Vedic system, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the olden days, of course, it was even more strict. One person, Madhva Sannyasi, I remember, he came to one Gurukul, and the Gurukul's teacher's wife, he was very happy with the Gurukul Sannyasi. He wanted to give some donation. So he gave prasad to everybody. When he was about to give donation, the Gurukul teacher sent his wife to collect it to get blessings. So the sannyasi took this much bundle of money, 50,000 something, and he was put the money in the women bring sari like this, put the money in her in that place in her hand, in the cloth. But he looked at the guru's wife, the wife's husband, the guru only. He did not even look at her. So I felt, if in our society anybody does like that, next day will be, hey, you are not even looking at it. There will be some kind of big, beyond cry. But he was ruthless. He just put the money in this side, but you're looking at his wife's husband. When I was 8 year old, my uncle has to go somewhere else. So the DT kitchen, I was very small. I don't know. I first time entering dealing with the fire and cooking. So my uncle was not there, so I had to cook. I don't know what is rice, what is dal, what is. So there's a kitchen, small kitchen. So my aunt came. She was standing outside the kitchen because she cannot enter the kitchen. The ladies cannot enter the DT kitchen. I mean, so I was very small and I don't know what to do. She was guiding from each and everything how to open how there's wood cooking. So how to fire it, how to put water, how to put rice, how to clean the rice. And I was saying, why don't you come and do it yourself? But I was very small. She was telling everything from outside. And when you are making that sweet rice, when you put good, keep the good, cuts into small, small lumps. When the rice is almost boiled, then only at the end you should put the good. I was saying, why don't you finish everything in the beginning only? Then later I understood if you put the good beginning, then the rice will not become softer. It'll be staying like hard like. So I was like, why don't you come inside and do the cooking? He said, no, I should not come because we should not be entering the kitchen. And then I was saying, you are cooking all the thing in the home, my uncle, and we all eat what you are cooking. Why don't you come and cook inside? No, I should not cook. But then later I was really thinking that Prabhupada went and preached his mission in Western world, and so much facilities are given for everybody. But I was just comparing both. This is wrong, or this is right, or this is wrong, that is right. No, both are right. But why these people are not complaining? Even she's 60-year-old, 70-year-old, she never get any kind of grudge. Oh, you never allowed me to enter the kitchen. The reason is that she is so happy serving in the kitchen in the home, because the husband who comes from the puja, when he is eating in the home, she has to cook. When the deity worship done in the temple and come home, and next deity worship starts at the temple and in the home, and that deities are served. Prasad, the offering is done, the cooking is done by the lady. Srirangam temple, the deity of Ranganath Pujari, he cannot worship, touch Ranganath deity unless he is married. Brahmachari cannot touch the deity. Sannyasi cannot touch. Ramanujari never touched Ranganath deity. Only a grahastha can touch. Who is that grahastha? Who has a wife alive. So only brahmachari, when gets married and after marriage his wife is alive, he can only touch and do puja to Ranganath temple. That means wife has all the authority to allow the husband to worship the deity. If she is not there, his seva is finished. ODP Krishna, only brahmacharis cannot touch, vanaprastha cannot touch, grahastha cannot touch, only sannyasi can touch. Same Krishna, but different understand different places. So when the husband wants to give charity, the wife has to be there. Without wife, husband cannot give charity. And when you perform a yajna, the wife has to be present. The fire is brought by women from the kitchen. She has to bring the fire, otherwise the yajna cannot be started. So uh, such a combination of the husband and wife. The wife has her own place. Without her, things will not move. Patni means patim nayati iti patni. She who directs the pati to the right path is patni. So in the Sanatana Dharma, such kind of intimacy, such kind of different roles are given, and both are complementing each. They're not competing with each other. So such a beautiful culture. And if you see that, in Srirangam, one mother fought in the court for decades. For what? For her husband to get the rights for worshipping Ranganath deity. Some dispute something, hereditary thing. So she fought in the court, and finally the court case was won. And the mother was in tears when her son got to worship the Ranganath deity. So we are saying that the boy who is worshipping the deity, he is not having that. He is also very happy, but comparing the ecstasy of worshipping the deity, his mother is in so much an ecstasy. Why? She is completely satisfied because The son is worshipping the deity. Completely satisfied, the husband is getting the chance. So when there is love and affection, the sacrifice comes, there is a satisfaction. So everybody, in fact, they are more satisfied, more happy. So I mean to say is that this restriction is, to summarize what we discussed, the restriction is not based on discrimination. The restriction is based on facility for gaining knowledge and leading a happy and peaceful life. And uh, this discrimination understanding is based on the wrong understanding. When there is hue and cry, when there is discrimination is felt, because of lack of trust, love, and affection. In the Western world, there is independence given. There is no trust. There is no care system is there. Everybody, we have selfish life. So that kind of life brings insecurity, and the insecurity brings that I am being deprived and I want to get my share. So because of this reason, we may there is kind of injustice is felt. But when there is care, when there is selflessness, when there is roles are understood, and when there is a bigger picture is understood, when there is a goal understood, the goal is to lead a everlasting happy life in the spiritual world. At the same time, we need to lead a peaceful and happy life in this world. And it is understood, then there won't be any competition. Rather, there is always there's no competition, no comparison. Rather, there is complement and there is cooperation. Understanding one's position. Hare Krishna. Sorry, I spoke something. If it is anything wrong, please correct me. Any comments, correction, questions? Quite late we are, I think. Yeah. Okay, one question will take.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, bro, for this enlightening class. Um, I have I mean, the question is about you mentioned about Ayurveda, living life. I have a comment and a question. So currently, many people on this world, I mean, which we are living, don't want to live long life. Like if somebody says, may you live 100 years, we feel, oh, what is this? Is this a blessing or what? So, but we see that previously everybody wanted to live a long life and did tapasya for like having that kind of a life, but it has completely it is not applicable or not very much required or wanted in this world today. So how is it happening and why is it like that?
While short life?
Yeah, not short life, but everybody is looking for kind of a pleasure or happiness right now, and not thinking of a longer life or a peaceful life.
Actually speaking, the Vedic Varnashrama Dharma and our all the Dharma Shastras, they are helping us to lead a long life as possible in this world with a meaningful, life and very satisfactory life. If you see the Varnashrama system, the Brahmachari life is that of a tapasya. Grihastha life is that of a full-fledged, quite good enjoyment. Vanaprastha life is little restricted. Sannyas is fully renounced. So now in the modern system, what they do, what they're supposed to do during brahmachari life, they do the activity of something like that for grihastha life. Like we say college, school and all. So much of intermingling. Previously in India, at least I remember, in our school days, uh, going closer to the women is considered, girls consider a little bit of uneasiness. And when the teacher wants to punish us, what they do? They they tell the boy to stand up, and they will tell them to stand next to girl side, girl side, boy side. They have to go to the other side, and they feel so shy and never commit the mistake again. Now I hear in Chennai there is a school. one devotee Mataji put her kid in the school, and she came running, and she said, "I'm going to take my girl out of the school." What happened? What happened? He said, the teacher suddenly she introduced a new system that boy, the sitting arrangement will be a boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl. Why they do that? It's 9th standard, 10th standard. So the teacher got a understanding. She got a revelation that the girls tend to talk too much, the boys are quiet. So what we do, we put a girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy. So the classroom will be, sufficiently, maintained. So she got allowed. Hey, what is happening here? So what it was a punishment is like it's like a reward or something. But I'm talking about the Varnashram system, Sanatana Dharma, that when you are a brahmachari life, lead a life of restriction. In a grahastha life, lead a life of, recreation. But in a spiritual society also, when they suppose outside society, when they are student, they're enjoying like intermingling with freely. And by the time they enter the grahastha life, they're almost done with everything, and life become very unpalatable, and that's why you see marriage breaking, because there is no freshness in their life, and and they become divorce, and all this thing happens. So in spiritual community, what happens is that because of too much of renunciation is imposed, too much of about renunciation is talked. Uh, what they do, the grahastha, they try to imitate brahmacharis or brahmachari life. Many time it happens. Oh, we should not, we should not, we should not do that. So then their life also breaks. It happened in spiritual societies also, and when they're supposed to lead a grahastha life, they are trying to live like a brahmacharis. That is not proper. And the brahmacharis, when they try to lead a life like that of grahasthas, then their life is also become very, it doesn't go deep, and they become stagnant over there. So that's why when the Raghuvamsha speaks about the history of Ram's dynasty, it says Saishave Abhyasta Vidyanam. When the Saishava means at the age of the brahmachari life, the kings of the Raghu dynasty, they went to Gurukul and they studied so nicely, so thoroughly. So brahmacharis, kings, kids, Dilipa, Mandata, who are all Ram's dynasty. They stayed as ideal brahmacharis and studied everything nicely. Then when they got married, they led life like king size, literally king size. Live life king size. They had wives, children, and nice life. So they did not overimpose the brahmachari concept in grahastha life. They did not overimpose grahastha concept in brahmachari life. But modern society is like that. By the time you are student, you are leading life like a grahastha, mixing with women. By the time you are grahastha, you are becoming, oh, nothing is palatable for me. And when the grahasthas, when they imitate brahmacharya or sannyasi, oh, we want advance, we want to go back to Godhead in 2 years, finish off this life, business, everything. And what about wife? What about children? Oh, this is Maya, that's Maya. Then become very dangerous. It happens also. So, brahmachari life means follow brahmacharya. Grahastha life, do the duty, don't imitate others. Then when sannyas comes, and what they do, what they supposed to do on sannyas, they do during grahastha time. Oh, I should give charity. I should not be attached to money. All these things. They don't savings. And when sannyasi life comes, then because they did not lead a proper satisfactory grahastha life, then again you can, those remnants are, things are lingering. So there is a fall down can also happen. Because of the small agitation. So Varnashrama system, that's why it is such a progress, such a scientific system that brahmacharya, grahastha, vanaprasanyas. And when that grahastha, when he sufficiently had good life, and then enters sannyasa ashram, he becomes strict sannyasi. So very rare cases, some cases that from brahmacharya directly to sannyas, like Saraswati Thakur, he did. But there is a gradual evolution. So basic idea, Varnashrama dharma doesn't restrict or doesn't negate the pleasures of the uh, life in the material world, in the human form of life. There is a allowance of pleasure, allowance of happy life. Basically, the program is how to live as much as possible happy in this life, and we easily achieve happiness life after. So that is a program. So it should be misunderstood that, oh, short life, die early, Vedic dharma, because of austerities and because of all these rules and regulation, we can't enjoy this world and we should die early and enjoy in the spiritual. No, that how we can live happily in present life. That's why Prabhupada, people ask Prabhupada, oh, you people are suffering so much. What you do for recreation? What Prabhupada said? Our life is recreation. So how to enjoy this world? Come and learn from Hare Krishna. Is that okay?
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Brahmachari is married.
Huh? Yeah, yeah. At the time of
And then कल भी आप ही दे दो तो